My goal is simple. I have until the end of 2025 to finish my backlog, and if I don't, I'll get a platinum tattoo somewhere on my body, and you guys get to vote where it goes. But here's the twist. For every 100 subscribers we gain, I'll add another platinum onto the backlog. Currently, we have 23 games left on our backlog, so today we are playing inFAMOUS First Light. This game has 6 bronzes, 11 silvers and 7 gold trophies on the way to our platinum. We'll be splitting this game into 3 steps. Up first is for completing the story. Step 2 is for getting 100% on all the map districts. And finally, step 3 for completing all the arenas and the challenges. Before we jump into it though, let's do a little backstory on this game. Most of you have probably already heard of the inFAMOUS series, but maybe not this one. And that's because this was originally planned to be a DLC from the main game inFAMOUS Second Son, but they decided to make it into a full game instead. So the game follows a character called Fetch, who is something called a conduit, which is basically somebody that has special powers, which hers is the ability to consume neon lights and then kind of use it like a weapon. So the game starts off with Fetch and her brother Brent loading up a boat with the plan to do one more massive job to earn money before leaving town and starting their new life. But yeah, we all know how those one last jobs in video games go, and this time it's no different. But before we can even do any type of mission, the cops show up, and to create a distraction we get to use our powers, which is basically like a mini intro in what Fetch is capable of. So after we evade the cops, we then head to an apartment building because inside there's a bag which is full of money. But of course it's never just as simple as take the bag, because inside is 3 guys who we have to kill to retrieve the bag. And oh yeah, use our powers properly. With those guys taken care of, we open a case which is next to the bag, and inside is a bomb. Yeah, GG's, game done, that was fun. Oh wait, never mind, we're fine, it's just a little scratch.
'Tis but a scratch.
So now we head back to Brent, who is also in a tricky situation because the people who we just killed in the apartment, who are called the Occurrence, they are also at the dock where Brent is. Once we get to the dock, we find the boat blown up and there is no sign of Brent anywhere. And then we pop our very first trophy, which is for completing the mission. So we skip forward in time with Fetch inside a prison cell, which is basically like a superhero prison, and she's explained the story of how she got into this situation. So we'll have a couple of similar sections like this throughout the game, where we'll be using the new abilities we gain, just like this one, which is being able to quick scope people's weak spots. Back to explain the story now, and back at the port a man turns up who's called Shane, who is also looking for Brent. And this dude is an absolute piece of shit. But he kind of helps us at first with a potential location of where they could have taken Brent captive. So we head to the location that Brent gave us, but first we have to drain a little neon. So what better place to do it than from a massive neon sign. We then find some of the Occurrence, and you can guess how it goes, we just completely destroy them. But still, no sign of Brent, so Shane gives us a phone call and tells us if we help him steal some guns from the Occurrence, he'll help us in return by putting more of his men on the street looking for Brent. And this is super easy, because all we need to do is sit on top of the truck and literally just laser every single car that even gets close to us. And then that's the mission done, and instantly Shane hits us up with some information of someone who might be able to help us with Brent. So we head there now. So at the next mission area, we get a phone call from somebody called Jenny, who's going to help us track down the person that potentially took Brent by hacking into the surveillance footage. All we do is find the dude and then track him through the cameras to see where he goes. But it turns out it's just a dead end because all he did was capture some poor woman. But lucky for us, the dude somehow managed to leave his phone on the floor, which we then used to track down his location. So weirdly enough, it's in another port, which has the containers with people locked inside who will be free in hopes that Brent is inside. Yep, he's not in the containers, but he calls us. Wait, how does this dude have a phone? Anyway, in all the commotion, he's made a run for it somehow, so we head to him. We finally find Brent, but surprise, surprise, the absolute pile of shit Shane is also there, and he takes Brent hostage, and now we have to do his dirty work. And then we pop a trophy for completing the mission. So all we did by taking out the Occurrence was put Shane in power of the entire city, which was basically his plan all along, and he has set his sights on bribing the chief of police by using Fetch's power. Now that we're doing jobs for Shane, the city has completely changed because us showing our powers has made the DUP, who captures people like Fetch, move into town. so our next mission has releasing Shane's men from one of their bases. We then get a phone call from Jenny, who we met earlier, who wants to help us free Brent and asks to meet her. So Jenny tells us about these drones which are ran by the police, but soon Shane will have control of these, so she tells us to destroy them so Shane can't track us. After destroying 3 of these drones, Jenny tells us she has a lead on where our brother is being located, so that's where we're going next. So we head there and she tells us Shane is keeping people inside containers and inside one of those might be Brent. So now we run around town, open them all. But guess what? Still no Brent, and looks like Shane knew all along what was happening. So now we need to head to Jenny's phone to try and save her. We are too late though, because she's already dead. Now we are back to being Shane's puppet, so we help him by causing enough destruction around town so he can kidnap the chief of police. And after he kidnaps him, we then have to defend Shane by taking out loads of cops, sniper style. And Shane, being the nice guy that he is, after he gets what he wants, he actually just tells us the location of Brent. Which we all know this is complete bullshit, because when we go there, he's not even there and Shane sets a trap to get us killed off. But somehow we manage to escape by literally just turning into a nuke. But at least we pop another story trophy. It's time to go on the offensive now and fuck with Shane. So we go destroy some of his drug trucks. Then we do some neon tagging, which I actually enjoyed. This might be the first time I've actually enjoyed this game. And later we get to do even more of this. Basically all you have to do is move your controller around and then shoot to tag it. And after we destroy and tag the last truck, Shane tells us where we can find him. Yeah, sure, this can't be a trap, right? But of course, this woman is f***ing stupid. This is of course going to be a trap. And Shane injects us with some hallucinogenic drug. Bruh, I swear to God, why is she so stupid? So in our crazy hallucination, we are shooting some big skeleton. But it turns out it was actually Brent trying to calm us down, who we end up killing by accident. Oh my f***ing God, bruh. And now we are back to the present day, and the person we've been telling the story to gives us a surprise, who is none other than Shane, who of course we choose not to kill and blow a massive hole in the side of the prison. So now we go chase after Shane. Why didn't we just kill him earlier? We could literally just lasered him through the wall. What the fuck is just happening in this game? Anyway, we eventually find him at the top of the cliff and we finally get our revenge. Yay for that. It's also kind of funny how you can just hold him in this position and he just keeps making this same stupid noise. I literally can't with this game. Anyway, we then get captured again and get a cutscene of us inside a truck with none other than one of the characters from inFAMOUS Second Son. Which we escape, and that's the story done. Oh, thank fuck for that. And another trophy for completing the story. And now we move on to step 2. And this part, personally, was the most fun I had in the game, really, because it's just collectibles. But I think that just shows how shit this game is. So the reason I enjoyed it so much, because 1, you get to destroy those drones from earlier again, which I did, and also in a trophy for destroying them all. And next is these races, where we chase after this ball of light, which was actually pretty fun to do, and we pop a trophy for collecting them all. And here we go. The main reason I enjoyed this step was for doing those tag missions again. I really wish more PlayStation games used the controller like this, but anyway, here's a trophy for doing them all. Then finally, the last collectible trophy, which is for collecting all the red dots, which can usually just be found in the sky. And now we're on to the final step, where we're spending most of our dreaded time of this game, mainly because there's a challenge for getting 10 million score, which takes quite some time to do. But anyway, firstly, we'll just be working on finishing all the arenas you see on screen, and also the respective challenges that comes with them. Whilst completing the first arena though, I pop a trophy for completing 25% of the challenges. And then we pop another trophy for finishing the first arena's challenges. Whilst in the second arena, we pop a trophy for defeating 100 enemies with the crazy noob ability that she can do. And then another trophy for finishing the arena. On to the next arena, we pop another trophy for finishing 50% of the challenges. And then the trophy for finishing the arena challenges. Arena 3 was actually probably the most difficult for me, mainly because you need to survive till wave 30, which near the end it definitely got intense, but we get it done and here's a trophy. Whilst doing the final arena, I pop another trophy for getting 75% of the challenges done. And then we finally finish all the arena challenges. Now all that's left is grind out for that big 10 million points and some smaller challenges which will pop us the rest of the trophies. So the first trophy we get is for saving 50 hostages, and shortly after another for freezing 25 enemies in the sky and then hitting their weak spots. Boom, another trophy for defeating 20 enemies with the homing missiles. Next is a trophy for hacking 25 turrets. And finally, after a couple hours of grinding, we popped 2 trophies, one for earning 10 million score and the last for completing all the challenges. And all that's left now is for unlocking all the skills, which was super easy because by the end of all the challenges I had more than enough. And here's the platinum. You know what, I'm just going to say it, if you couldn't already tell by how this video went, this game. This was a complete absolute pile of horse shit. How the hell did this even become a game? This should have been a DLC. Why is it a full price game? This is shit. This might be the worst DLC I've ever done. The story was complete shit. The characters were complete shit. I need therapy after finishing this. But it's off the backlog and I never have to see this absolute shit again. Well, besides in my nightmares, of course. Anyway, thank you for all the support and even watching this video. Please, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe just so I feel less depressed after doing this. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.